Hi, you're watching my channel Helen Explains, and in this video I am talking about the Electoral College. This is the US Electoral College system which the US uses in order to determine who wins the presidency. Now, I am really excited, also quite nervous, because this week is the 2020 presidential election. This election is already set for the biggest voter turnout in a century. In a whole century, 100 years of elections, and they have never seen voter turnout like it. It's going to go down in history. As I said, this election is going to be really key. It's going to be historic. 2020 is already, I was going to say historic, but you know, it's a year. So who knows what will happen. If you like this video, I've also done another political video on the US political system explained. If you click up here, I'll link to it, and I'll also link to it down in the description and then following this video. Hi, you're watching my channel Helen Explains, where I make videos on the topics of anti-racism, intersectional feminism and politics. So the Electoral College, what is it and why is it so important in a US election? The Electoral College is 538 electors. Now these electors are elected in advance of the elected anyway. These people are like sort of party loyalists or just individuals who've been involved in the presidential campaigns. They are nothing to do with Congress. So there are 538 of them. There are 535 members of Congress. Now, the numbers are very similar, but the Electoral College is kind of related to Congress, but it is nothing to do with these people who are your representatives and your senators. Those are let's just move them to the side. The electors are determined on how many senators a state has and how many House of Representatives the state has. Every single state has 2 senators, regardless of the size, regardless of the population. It's just a flat blanket, 2 senators per state. So there are 100 senators in total. So we have 100 electors. We then have another elector per each House of Representatives. So there's 435 representatives, and therefore we get 435 electors. So states with large populations will have a lot of electors or a lot of House of Representatives. States with very sparse populations will have very few, probably only 1. So the minimum you can have is 3 per state. So that's 2 senators and a minimum of 1 House of Representatives. So Alaska, for example, has 3. California is one of those states that has a huge population. So it has 55 in total. Now that's, again, 2 senators and it's 53 House of Representatives, which means it has 55 electors in total. Now I mentioned there's 538 electors and 535 members of Congress. The extra 3 are for Washington, DC. So they just add on another 3 and DC gets them in the Electoral College. So how does it work in the election? Determining which way a state goes, so if it's going to go to Democrats or Republicans, is decided on a popular vote. So that just means all the votes are counted in that state, and so whichever party gets the most votes in the state wins all of the Electoral College votes. Now this is where people kind of have an issue with the Electoral College, because let's say the margin is like 1 or 2%. Reminds me of Florida in the Trump and Clinton election. Trump won Florida by a margin of 1.3%, something really small. It was so tight. They were like neck and neck like that. Trump winning Florida means that he gets all of the Electoral College votes. Hillary got nothing. Arguably, this isn't a good system. Florida has 29 Electoral College votes. And if it was a margin so close like that, surely like Trump should get 15 and Hillary should get 14, you know, to make it even, to show that it's like that the state is split, rather than Trump getting all 29. I don't know, that's just the system, but it's simply based on the popular vote, no matter the margin of victory. So to win the presidency, the party has to get past 270 Electoral College votes. So it's a first past the post system, which is what we have in the UK. Again, it's a flawed system, but it is meant to be fair. As I said, it is a race to 270. So you've got 538 in total, and 270 is the target you have to meet to win the presidency. this is where swing states come in and is why they are so important. So swing states, what are they and why are they so important in the US election? So swing states can also be called battleground states because, as the name suggests, they are literally where the candidates are going to be doing battle to win the votes in order to swing it one way or the other. Swing states will literally decide the election. That is why they're so important. As I gave the example of Florida, Florida is a swing state with 29 electoral college votes. So you think of swing states, you think, oh, this must be the ones that have the most electoral college votes. Well, no, not necessarily. Examples of swing states, they might even only have 3 electoral college votes. So swing states and sort of tipping points in the 2016 election were ones like Maine, Nevada, Minnesota, New Hampshire, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Florida, Arizona, and North Carolina, and Georgia. However, it's not just these swing states to focus on in the presidential election. We also need to really focus on the states with the massive amounts of electoral college votes. For example, California with 55, that's usually a Democrat state, so hopefully it will go to the Democrats. But you've got Texas, which has 38 electoral college votes, and that usually goes to Republicans. Then you've got Florida and New York, which have both got 29 electoral college votes. Illinois and Pennsylvania on 20. Ohio on 18, and then Georgia and Michigan on 16, North Carolina on 15, and then New Jersey on 14, Virginia 13, and Washington 12. Then Arizona, Indiana, Massachusetts, and Tennessee all on 11 electoral college votes. And then finally on 10 electoral college votes, you've got Maryland, Minnesota, Missouri, and Wisconsin. It's going to be a really, really close one, and it's going to be a really interesting one. The polls for the 2020 election have been pointing to Biden. However, the polls in the 2016 election pointed to Hillary. So I don't know. I don't even know who we can believe. Anyway, I really hope this video helped you understand the Electoral College vote and how it works with the swing states and how they determine the presidential election. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos on anti-racism, intersectional feminism and politics. Thanks.